Good day. I'm Joseph Noor. I'm a medical doctor and a biochemist, and I'm the author of Document X, Direct Evidence of God's Existence. Concerning the origin of the universe, the Quran declared 14 centuries ago, in chapter 21, verse 30, it says, "Do not those who deny the existence of God see that the heavens and the earth were once closed up as a single unit of creation devoid of space, which we then parted, creating space and time, and we made from water every living thing. Will they not then believe?" The Quran addresses here the atheistic mind who understands the origin and evolution of the universe. It appeals to them to ponder over the unitary origin of the universe and the unitary origin of all life forms from water. Now let us look. There are 5 phrases in this verse. First one, single unit of creation. Second one, absence of space. The third important phrase, closed up. And then there's an opening of creation and the formation of space in the beginning of time. So let us look at these phrases individually. The entire universe was once squeezed into a region much smaller than the size of an atom. And this could only be possible if all space was eliminated, and hence the phrase absence of space. Now, squeezing the universe down to such a minuscule volume meant that it exerted a colossal gravitational force, pulling everything, so to speak, inwards. Now, this can be deduced from 2 verses. In chapter 15, verse 16, the Quran refers to black holes which exert such colossal forces. And in 77:25, it speaks about the attractive nature of gravity. Now, I'm not going to overwhelm you with quotations, but I'll provide the details as we go along. Now, an additional meaning of a key Arabic word here. The Quran is describing an entity here which exerts a colossal gravitational force and which traps everything, including light, so that nothing can escape out of it. And this explains the term closed up. These are also key features of a black hole. A black hole is a large star that has burned up its fuel and is now collapsed to a super dense state. But we're going to discuss black holes at a later stage. The point is that we are beginning to sense that the Quran is describing some black hole state here. So the next important phrase is now the opening up of creation. And this implies the application of some anti-gravitational force. Now we know that gravity exists in 2 forms, an attractive form and a repulsive form. Now scientists theorized that under the extreme conditions that prevailed in the beginning, gravity was most likely to be repulsive. It is this repulsive force that opened up the universe. And as the universe opened up, space came into existence, as the verse indicates. And with the formation of space, time began. Now, the word time does not appear in the original Arabic, but I've derived the word time from another verse, chapter 10, verse 5, which expresses the inextricable link between space and time. Now, this is one of the recommended guidelines of the Quran, never to consider verses in isolation, but to bring all the relevant verses together so that one get a better sense of what the Quran is explaining. Now, I've bracketed the word time to show the reader that it does not appear in the original Arabic, but as I said, was derived from another verse. But to guard against any form of manipulation, I have bracketed the word time. Now, currently the universe is in a state of expansion. This can be deduced from chapter 51:47. Now follow this. If the universe is expanding, getting larger, then reversing the cosmic movie, the universe gets smaller, hotter, and denser. And as we edge towards the beginning state, the temperature rises into the millions. And approaching the instant of the creation, the temperature reaches infinite proportions. And these fierce temperatures are referred to in another verse, chapter 15:27, which says, "And the hidden or unseen forces of nature we created long before the creation of man out of intense radiation." If we look at these descriptive terms of the Quran here, a closed up entity, an object creating a massive gravitational force, absence of space, infinitely hot temperatures, infinitely dense. These are hallmarks of a singularity. So we arrive at the stunning conclusion that the Quran described the initial state of the universe as a singularity. There is no manipulation of words, the Arabic words is precise. Now let us look at the next important verse concerning the beginning of creation. Chapter 51:47 states, "With power, skill, and energy did we lay the foundation of the universe according to specified conditions, and certainly we are steadily expanding it." The creation of the universe was no accident, that it necessitated the input of divine energy and skill. Why energy? Energy is the simplest form of anything. Everything can be ultimately reduced to energy and no further. So the foundation of the universe was laid on energy. The next phrase which is noteworthy is that of according to specified conditions. Now, this means that the universe was planned, crafted in accordance with a set of principles or instructions, and these conditions or instructions are known as the constants of nature. And examples of these constants of nature are the inward gravitational tug, when the universe came into existence, the outward expansion rate, the balance between the two, the mass of the electron, and so on. So these are fixed values. These constants of nature were exquisitely fine-tuned, and we spoke about this degree of fine-tuning in the previous lecture, where we mentioned the delicate balance that existed between the inward gravitational force and the opposing outward expansion rate. And this fine-tuning was absolutely essential to guide the universe, to allow stars and planets and galaxies and life to form. If there was the slightest deviation from these values, the universe would have aborted, collapsed immediately, or give rise to a universe devoid of life. And this fine-tuning is confirmed in chapter 54:49, which says, "And certainly we've created everything in due measure and proportion." Now, why these constants of nature took on the values they do is one of the deep secrets of the universe. Here the Quran tells us in plain language that it's a question of divine choice. But this shouldn't make us complacent. The Quran urges man to study it and to explore the universe. If science can come up one day with a kind of a theory that predicts the values of the constants of nature, it would prove the Quran wrong. The book would lose its divine status. The Quran is therefore falsifiable, testable, and provable. If, on the other hand, scientists fail to produce such a theory, then they must begin to accept the truthfulness of the Quran, and that the constants of nature were created by God, and it is God that assigned the specific values to them. Now, these are not statements without foundation. If you look at the second part of the verse, it says, "And we are steadily expanding the universe." So here the Quran foreshadows the modern notion of an expanding universe. Now, if this statement was verified an unbelievable 13 centuries later after the announcement in the Quran, then it's conceivable that our universe required the input of divine skill and energy, that statement should be verifiable in the future. Now, the last verse I'd like to quote concerning the origin of the universe is 41:11, where it says, "He applied his design to the primordial universe when it was still hot and hazy and gaseous." Now, remember we said earlier that the first elements formed were the simplest elements, hydrogen and helium, which constitute more than 99% of the cosmic material, and these were gases. During those cosmic dark ages, in other words, the first few 100,000 years, the universe was gaseous, it was hot, and it was hazy. Remember of the trapped photons, it appeared misty. The word dukhan in 41:10 accurately sums up the state of the universe, being hot, being hazy, and being gaseous. Some commentators have understood the word to mean smoke-like. And I don't think that is correct for the following reasons. When you talk about smoke, it implies some kind of a fire. And for a fire to burn, you need oxygen. And at that stage, during the Dark Ages, there were no stars. And stars manufacture oxygen. So I think that understanding or that translation of the universe being smoke-like should be discarded. In summary, therefore, we find the Quran gives us an accurate description of the initial state of the universe, being closed up, absence of space, exerting a colossal gravitational force, infinitely hot, infinitely dense, which I said earlier are descriptive terms of a singularity. Then the universe opens up because of the repulsive nature of gravity, and space comes into being, and with space, time emerges. Then we also said that chapter 15, 27, 28, 29 tells us about the violent temperatures that prevailed in the beginning. The Arabic word for that is nari samum. So this is exactly how scientists describe the beginning state of the universe: blisteringly and scorchingly hot.